Okay. And let's see, was that string here? Come on. I seem to have a really piss poor connection. My Wi-Fi sucks today. Perhaps it will improve. Yeah, it's hi Tommy. I have a very bad connection. My Wi-Fi is very weak today. Let's see if it sorts itself out. This is after a couple of weeks of having very good signal strength. Um, things are looking pretty shitty today. So, but hi, Jason. Hi, Tommy. Good to see you guys. I'll put the link out there in a moment. I'm hoping that this signal, I rebooted my Wi-Fi too before going live. I rebooted my modem and I didn't restart my computer. Usually is not the problem. It's usually my fucking Wi-Fi. That's the problem. Very frustrating, and because I got a lot of good stuff here to, to show for the year of 2019. Yeah, I have a really, really bad signal, and I rebooted my modem once. So what I'm gonna this, and it doesn't look like it's fucking improving. I don't want to reboot my computer, although I'm going to need to do something quickly to see if I can salvage the stream here. So if y'all give me here, I'll leave a comment. So I'll be back in less than 5 because what I'm going to do is I am going to reboot my modem and see if that helps the signal any. I want to get this straightened out before we get too deep into what's going on. So I'll see you all in a minute or a few. Okay, I'm back, and it looks like maybe my signal is still waffly, and there it goes down to one fucking bar. Jesus. Well, we'll see how it goes. I'm really pixelated, but that's all. I'm the only one on screen right now. And let me restart my, also, I need to restart my other, okay. It looks like we're back there. And thank you for all your patience. Yeah, I have a very, very weak signal. This hasn't happened for a really long time. And so I'm hoping that the signal will improve and sustain. That's the key. So I will send out the link so we can get the show on the road here and see how this goes. Yeah, see, now my signal was like full strength and it's kind of bumping back and forth. So I'm afraid I am going to be vacillating between a good signal and a bad signal. And I see, Chris, there you are. For a second there, it looked like I was even having trouble getting you into the green room. But let me add you up here. Hello, Chris.
Hi, how are ya?
Doing good, but frustrated.
Your picture is normal now, so
yeah.
Whatever happened in the last minute or so.
Yeah, the my little signal strength bar, I see it. If the signal drops, I'll see it in my window, and so I'll know if things are turning shitty for me. Here comes Tommy. How you doing, Tommy?
Hello. Hyvää iltaa.
Yeah. So let's hope that my signal holds.
Yeah. Chris seems to have something special taped there.
Yeah. We're getting to.
I got a care package. I got a care package from This is a mixtape that Tommy sent me. I just got a few
all right.
days ago. So
Finish Hammer.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's a mix of a bunch of groups. So there'll be a video about it in probably like a week or so.
Nice. All right. Well, Jason said he'll be joining us pretty soon, so we can sort of catch up how things are going with everybody. How are things in Finland, Tommy?
Quite fine. We get winter back here, so lots of snow here in Helsinki. And
yeah, is it still
people
cold?
Are skiing. Not very cold, but lots of snow and more coming next week. So.
Yeah. Okay. And Chris, how are things in Kentucky?
Oh, fine. We had a couple days ago on Friday. We had like heavy thunderstorms and wind. My power was out for most of the day on Friday. I live out of town and it's a pretty wooded area, so pretty much every time that there's like heavy wind, some branch somewhere goes down and takes out a power line.
Exactly. It never fails because the power companies never do a very good job of maintaining trimming the trees around their power lines. So I don't know.
Yeah, in Finland, they are now putting all those cables to the ground. They're digging the
Yeah,
route
that's,
and put all the cables there in the rural areas, like where our cabin is.
Yeah, some more progressive towns, with new development, they're doing that they're putting all power lines and phone lines underground to kind of, remove all the, it's more expensive, but when it comes to, storms and stuff, you don't have power outages, it's actually a pretty good way to go. So, and hello, CGC Vinyl and Vincent. Good to see you guys in there. And Jason, the link is out there if you are ready to join. I've got enough records again to do. If I do 2 records, that'll each time I'll have about 7 rounds, and that pretty much takes us to like the 2-hour mark. I mean, that's kind of how it's been going. So I think that'll probably be plenty. I'm not really that surprised that I have more records from like 2017 on, because I've been buying a lot of more recent releases. So my collection is growing in the latter part of in the 2000 teens, because from like, I don't know, maybe from the late 1990s to the early 2000s, I just wasn't buying a whole lot, and I was more following club music, so I wasn't buying records so much. But oh, geez, got a big snowstorm.
2019, the COVID started, so when you was working on home, you had time to listen records,
and I had just
started a lot of records.
Yeah, I had just started buying records again around 2000, maybe 15 or 16, and then the pandemic came, and then I had a record store that was just a few blocks away from me. It shut down. It took a while to open. I mean, because, if you weren't an essential business, pretty much you had to shut down your business and wait for the city to give you the go ahead to go with that. But got some good stuff for 2019. I'll put the banner up for 2019 and welcome everybody. And Jason, what's the holdup, man? Get your act together. What's going on? All right. Well, we can get started. So what have you got? Start us off, Chris.
Okay, so we'll start you off with, so this is a kind of an indie rock singer-songwriter named Steph Tura. I'm going to have Richard look at the hype sticker.
I only see it produced by Will Toledo. Oh, my.
Yeah, I knew you would like that part of it at least. So this is an album called Midnight. It was her second album. My understanding is I don't think she's released an album since then. So it's pretty cool. The most popular song, she made a video about it where she was kind of an overage cheerleader. This song, "Scream." She's got kind of a gruff, husky voice. But
what's the name of it again? Steph
Tura? I think that's a nickname for Stephanie.
Steph Tura.
Yeah.
I was putting down Stiff as I was doing a search here. All right. Steph as in her name. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, and do I have? No, it's on plain black vinyl, so no fancy vinyl to show off, at least for this one. So
nothing in the old music guide about her, so she must be brand new.
Yeah, my understanding is she had an album in 2017, this album in 2019. I don't think she's released anything since, so I don't know if this was like, if she went back to like normal life or what. I don't know.
If I could spell the name right, I keep putting 2 F's. And there she is. Okay. in Discogs, but absolutely no information about her, but just the listing. Yeah. All right. So yeah, again, but tell us about the record.
So, I mean, you've got indie rock, as I was saying. She's got kind of this gruff, husky voice. It's kind of a distinctive voice. It's a bit hard to describe, but it doesn't really sound like anyone else. So it's not like I can say, "Oh, she sounds like so and so."
Right.
But
good voice, good songs, lyrics.
So, yeah, I mean, the Scream song's pretty clever. I'll be honest, I haven't listened to this album in probably a year because I literally pulled albums earlier this morning for this. I didn't do my homework, but and probably the main reason why I was showing you this particular record is because I knew you would like the producer part of it.
Yeah. So this was released in 2009. That was before he got sick. So, yeah, unfortunately, they've been silent for the last couple of years because Will got that long COVID and he's just taken a very long time to recover. And I have no idea what they've been up to. Looking forward to some new material from them, that's for sure. But all right, cool. I'll keep an eye out for that. It looks like that's something that I may need to investigate on Bandcamp because, like I say, there's not a whole lot of information, at least not in either the All Music Guide or. Of course, I kept spelling her name wrong too.
If my memory serves me correct, I think I did buy that from her Bandcamp page.
Yeah, and oh shoot. This Friday was the
first of the month, the first Friday where
everything that you buy, they get 100% of whatever, but yeah, it's a 4-star record in the All Music Guide and 4-star rating by users as well. So
she's from Detroit, so.
Nice. Interesting. A new one. All right. Steph Tura. I'm going to have to write this down. So, Tommy, what do you got?
Okay. I keep also in indie rock style. Maybe indie pop is more suitable word to describe this band. This is Mould, Tutor, that means like Spice Girls in English. This was the biggest phenomena in Finland in 2019, and I've been since then, I think. There's a duo, 2 girls, 2 sisters that have like synthesizer and guitar, and they do very melancholic singing in the pop, this is pop style. Very melancholic, and in the 2019 they were playing in every places, like in libraries and malls and everything like that. But now they can fill any bigger stage here in Finland, and they are in every festival, in summer festivals playing. They are very big phenomenon, and actually this is my youngest daughter's favorite band, and she always liked that we listen this one when she visited our home. And actually, she asked that I buy their 3rd album because she wanted to have the big poster in the record. But I like to listen.
Do you have a color variant? Is that a color variant?
Yes, this is
the blue one. Okay, yeah.
Blue one. This is the first pressing, and they have before this one. They have only one 7-inch that I regret not to buy. It was released in July was in 2018. I think 2018. This is in early 2019 released. But I was in summer vacation, and I had deal myself that I don't buy anything in summer. So I didn't buy it, and now the 7-inch I saw it's 50 euros. But luckily the both songs are here. Se oli SOS, and another song was Tein kai lottoryvini väärin. It was SOS, and I made my lotto ticket wrong. So most of the songs are about drinking cheap beer and taking some drugs, medicine drugs.
Good old rock and roll.
The most songs are about those subjects, and I don't know, are you guys familiar with the Finnish director Aki Kaurismäki?
I am not.
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes, he was actually once in, I think he was in the foreign film Oscar. No, he didn't get, but he was there. But anyway, his films are always melancholic films, and they're going very slowly, and the people do not speak a lot. And the most videos are made like those Aki Kaurismäki films. And now Aki has new film. He has done films since early 80s. And now in his latest film that is going to be released in this summer or autumn, Maustet Tytöt have some small part there also. So probably they are also playing in the soundtrack, I think. But this is really, really good. And the second album, there was little disco influences there. But maybe one thing that is little bit matter here is you listen all these songs through at once, they are little too much similar with each other. So it's better you listen only like few songs there. And I actually like to have like in Spotify I have my own playlists. So there's a couple songs there, and always you listen here those songs there, it's very good. But listening whole album once, it's little too much because they are not variation much. That's why it's interesting to hear their latest album and see how they come something new there, something extra, maybe drums or something like that could be wonderful to have there. But anyway, good album.
Yeah, the rating in Discogs is like the average is 4.5 stars. Yeah. So it's people like the record, but I get what you mean about, with some records, the songs sound really similar from song to song to song. Yeah, the album can get kind of boring after a while.
That's the worst part of this album. And the second album was the disco songs were good, but there was nothing much more than the repeating the same stuff. But anyway, this is youth like it, and old father like me likes also this, and a couple of my friends like very much also of this. And we have been seeing Maustet Tytöt in the library gigs, and it's always free.
And the album is already, I see 3 for sale, and they're starting at $50. So
this is first pressing is probably quite expensive, especially the new album. I'm not sure it's released yet or in later March.
I love how thank you, Christopher, because I love how when you join these streams, you are always posting a litany of releases from the year that we're discussing. That's great. Look at that, Lana Del Rey.
I've heard of Lana Del Rey.
Yeah, right. Mostly things I don't know.
I think I haven't never heard. I think it was big time. People were talking about in VCs, and I think that I maybe tried to listen to some album, but I don't remember what kind of music it is at all.
I can't remember what Lana Del Rey sings either, because I know the name, but I cannot conjure a tune in my head of what she does. All right. So for my first one here is as I make myself big here, is this band from Tempe, Arizona, known as the Meat Puppets. And this is Dusty Notes, excuse me. And this band has been around for a very long time. They're founded by brothers Kurt and Chris Kirkwood. They've been around since the early 80s. So, and this is their most recent record. They started off as very much a post-punk band, but then they kind of blended, or I should say, they kind of evolved. And I can see my signal is way down, so my video is probably really pixelated right now. But they kind of evolved into a more post-punk with a country melodies kind of filling in. And this latest one is unlike their earlier material, which was much more energetic, definitely in the post-punk realm and post-rock realm. This one is a little more contemplative. The country melodicism comes through on this album a little more. It does kind of strike a nostalgic note with the songs, although it's not a callback to like earlier releases. And I guess it kind of reflects that the Kirkwood brothers are nearly as old as I am. The oldest one was born in 1960. And then the younger brother was born, I think, in the mid 60s. There's a song, couple songs on here. The song "On," it's got this line like an old broken record. It just keeps on playing on. And then the song "Unfrozen Memory" has got harpsichord in it. It's got this really pretty harpsichord melody going through. And then in the background is this very cool psychedelic kind of guitar, playing sort of in the background. So it's not really very front is the harpsichord, and then the guitar is a little further back. So yeah, Meat Puppets. Of course, I'm all pixelated right now, so you probably cannot see the back cover very well. But when I first started listening to the Meat Puppets, that was when they were doing their much more of the punk post-rock kind of material. They always had a little bit of a country rhythm and twang to them, but they were a little more definitely in the post-rock side of things. And this one is much more on the, Americana alt country kind of thing. It's a very melodic, very good. The songwriting is really good. So yeah, Meat Puppets, check them out. All right, so Chris, what you have?
All right, so my next album is something I got sort of by accident. So this came from YK Records in Nashville. I had ordered some other records by them, and they put this in the box as a bonus. And it was an artist I had never heard of until I got this. The artist, I know it's very hard to read, but the name is Stone Jack Jones. The album's called Black Snake. And so, the little bit of research I did on him, he looks like he's in his 50s or maybe 60s. He grew up in West Virginia. Apparently from a coal mining family. The family kind of said, coal mining's kind of going away. You need to do something else. And he's kind of become a traveling musician. I would have described the album as indie folk, but I went to his Bandcamp page and he describes himself as psychedelic country noir, which sounds cooler than indie folk.
Yeah.
So,
that does. I kind of like that.
So, and again, I'll be honest, this is an album I've only listened to a couple of times, but it's kind of like it's a bit twisted, folky sort of music. So, and it was as I said, it was something that I got. Here's the inner sleeve. So, apparently spelling is a little bit problematic, but then yeah. See if there's any information I can get out of here. It just kind of describes the various people that he played with. So he plays. Sometimes he plays guitar. Sometimes he plays banjo. Sometimes he plays bass. So a variety of instrumentation, but kind of it's kind of folky, kind of Americana sounding. So
Yeah, that comes in handy when someone tells you that there's no future in your career, that you can fall back on the fact that you can play music, that you, especially a multi-instrumentalist, that opens up some other doors for you, for income.
yeah.
Not all of us have that. Okay, Tommy, what have you got for us?
Yeah, okay, 2019 was actually quite different year for me, because I found quite much of music that I didn't listen before that, like Afrobeat and stuff, and also jazz. I didn't listen any jazz, but then I found those Blue Note audiophile records. But here's some new jazz from 2019. It's Ezra Collective, and You Can't Steal My Joy, and this is a band from Great Britain, and they have like, because I'm not in jazz, I don't know what kind of jazz this is. So I think there's a modern jazz with little hip hop influences there also. It's pretty good looking album here, and very nice music. They have done a couple maxi singles, I think, after this, but I haven't bought those because pretty expensive stuff. But this is really good album if you like jazz, maybe little acid jazz and hip hop influences there. I like.
There's another artist by the name of Ezra that. So I got to look him up again. That's hardcore punk.
Okay, this is not hardcore punk. This is Ezra Collective, and I'm not sure is this Ezra some older jazz player that are in these young guys playing jazz, if I'm not completely wrong. But how I can know, because I don't know anything about jazz music.
I'll try and look it up by the title.
Yeah.
You Can't Steal My Joy.
You Can't Steal My Joy. Yeah, this is really good one. Really good one.
Okay.
And if
the Ezra Collective.
So here, like another. Yeah, Ezra Collective. Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
And here's also, guys, another different one is, this is, I found the Afrobeat. This is Finnish band, Basics, not Basics, but Basics.
Okay.
Double S there. And this is Afrofunk Ethio Dopeness. So there's one guy from Ethiopia, Finnish guys playing. This is pretty funky stuff, pretty African, Afrobeat, Afrofunk type of stuff. Really good album. This is their fourth album, I think, and they have a couple of singles after this, but I haven't heard anything what they have done lately. This is also I accidentally find this one in the record shop. I didn't know that there even exists anything like this in Finland.
Yeah, I've recently found. I mean, they've been around for a while, but there used to be this really great series called Ethiopics, but it was only available on CD. Yeah. And now, in over the last 5 or 6 years, they've been releasing them on vinyl, and it's great, great funky soul, jazzy music from Ethiopia. So,
Mulaktu, what's the name of the?
Cool. Well, I have to. The Ezra Collective, though, that kind of sounds interesting.
It's really good. Really good one.
All right, so I'm going to start showing 2 at a time now. Now, this next band is one that I will be going to see in July. and that is where I'll find my notes here about this. Oops, opening the wrong window. Maybe that's why my bandwidth sucks. Anyway, it's this band here called Alton Goon. All right. And I guess the pronunciation is geese or geese. I don't know. It's Turkish. The band is from the Netherlands, from Amsterdam, and it's made up of a couple Dutch musicians and then some Turkish musicians. All the songs are sung in Turkish. And what the band does is they do psychedelic covers of traditional Turkish songs, folk songs. And it's really, really quite amazing material. And it was started by this guy, Jasper Verhulst, who's a bass player. And he just put an ad in Facebook looking for Turkish musicians, and so they got together. So if you have heard of and like bands like Goat or King Gizzard or Krongbin or Kikagaku Moyo, this is right up your alley. This is their second release, and I have most of their discography. They have a brand new record though that was released. I think it was either late last year or might have even been released early this year. So when they come to Chicago in the summer, they are likely to be playing a lot from that. But like I say, this is a really amazing fuzzed out guitar with synth riffs. But of course, these are the covers of traditional music folk songs. Some of them are like really, really danceable. Others are very fuzzed out jams. There's two vocalists, a male and female. The female vocalist, her name is Merv Dasdemir, something like that. Really amazing, really beautiful voice. And then some of the songs too have really super funky bass lines. It's just, it's a good record.
Yeah, I think Merv is the correct pronunciation because I had a female Turkish student several years ago that was named that. So
okay,
what label is that on? Because I've heard the name of that band before. I've just never have gotten around to looking them up, but it sounds like I should.
It says Glitter Beat is the label.
Okay.
And I don't think this is this is their second release. I have their first one, and I don't think their first one is I don't think their first one is on that same label, but it's also a real good one. I'm really curious to hear this brand new one that they got.
Are you planning on picking up the new one before that concert, or?
Well, now that I know that it's there, yeah, because the concert I got my tickets. Is not until July, so I'm hoping I'll be able to find that before the show. And I see you backstage, Jason. I'll bring you up here in a minute. Then the other one is Violent Femmes, Hotel Last Resort.
I have that on CD. I didn't pull it, but
yeah, this is I got this when I went to see them in Pittsburgh in 2019. They were on tour with Ben Folds. I'm not a Ben Folds fan. We left during the Ben Folds show, but they opened for them. And they signed, they were there signing out. So it's got everybody's signature on this. I got another one too that they signed, and my ticket stub is in there with the record. This is really good. I mean, this is not like their debut and Why Do Birds Sing. Those are incredible albums. I mean, but this is a really solid album. It's one of the songs features a Stefan Janoski who does some vocals, who's apparently a professional skateboarder. I don't know, what his deal is. However, the last song on side A, the titular song, Hotel Last Resort, features Tom Verlaine. And you can hear his guitar playing is not like way forward. He's not doing any really wild solos or anything like that, but he's really playing some delicious, very fuzzed out wah-wah grooves, kind of in the back with the song. So it was very cool that they had that with Tom Verlaine on this yellow vinyl, kind of a egg yolk yellow, I guess you could say. So, but yeah, those are the two I got. And then, okay, Jason, how you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
Glad I could join you, sir. I'm late. I was doing some graphic design for a next
It's
mixtape.
coming slowly.
We're having,
Hello, Jason.
my Wi-Fi is not all that great today, but
okay.
it's holding. It's holding together. So
Some legs.
yeah. All right. So, Chris, what you got?
All right. Well, I'm holding back. I have a couple that I suspect Richard has. I'm going to hold back for a while on those. The one I'll show now is Bob Mould with Sunshine Rock. So, of course, we know Bob from Husker Du and Sugar, and he's put out a ton of solo albums. I'll be honest, there was a point where I basically stopped getting his solo albums, but then his most recent two, this being one of them, I have gotten. And this one, the name is pretty descriptive. This is probably one of his poppier, less gloomy albums of his career. If you want Angry Bob, his next album, we'll get back to Angry Bob, but he's not Angry Bob on this particular album. So then you can see various songs on here. And so this would be one, like if you like some of like the more commercial songs from these days in Sugar, you'd probably like this album. And if you want a little bit more of a caustic Bob, then his album, which I think is from next year, you'll like. You're muted, Richard.
Oh, Richard's muted.
I know the name Bob Mould, but for some reason I can't place it.
Oh man, Husker Du, you gotta get some Husker Du, man.
Husker Du and Sugar, and I'm really surprised you don't know him a little bit better.
Very melodic punk.
Husker Du is something that I have always wanted to start getting into. I just haven't gotten around to purchasing anything from them. So,
well, start with like the later stuff, I would say, Richard, for Husker Du, because the later stuff, when they signed to Warner Brothers, it got a little bit more melodic, more commercial, indie.
Sell out.
No, but for I don't think Rich is not going to go land speed record. You know what I'm saying?
The first hardcore.
I don't know. I've got a couple records I'm going to show that are, don't underestimate my.
Go in the middle. Go in the middle. Go for Zen Arcade and New Day Rising.
The crossover album, between the hardcore and the new stuff.
And R.I.P. to Spot, by the way. Now that I brought that up, he was a guy who produced and engineered a lot of SST records, including some of those earlier Husker Du records, and he passed away, I think, yesterday.
Oh no!
Who was it that played? Because they had a real band in the film, the original film of Hedwig and the Angry Inch, and for some reason I always thought that was Husker Du.
No,
but I don't know if that was.
They were broken up by then. I saw that live in New York, actually. That play off Broadway, Hedwig.
With the original or
original
was it
cast? Yeah, it was sick, man. It was really cool.
Yeah, because once Husker Du broke up, they never got back together at all.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then Grant Hart, who's the other guy who sang and wrote songs, has passed away. So
okay.
They were just a trio
Yeah.
from
I
Minneapolis.
just remember for the movie, I don't know if they did it for the stage play, but for the movie, it was a real band, and they played live. Everything,
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't like dubbed or done in
The
a
stage
studio.
play was a real
Yeah.
band. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. All right, Tommy, what you got there?
Okay, let's go from 7-inch now. Have you
Sevens.
guys heard this one? Twin Temple.
Hmm.
You have heard this one. I think this is American duo.
Hmm.
And
Don't
they
know.
play
Wow.
satanic doo-wop.
Cool.
So this is their
Twin Temple.
first single, 2 songs, Satan's a Woman and I Am a Witch. And I think they surprised their video for this one is they have completely full frontal nudity there, both woman and this, both of these characters here. And it was uncensored in YouTube back in 2019, I don't know at the moment. And I just noticed from the Discogs that this is like €60, 7-inch now, and my there was many colors, and my one is very.
This is $86 on my Discogs
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
for that.
this green line.
Ooh.
I regret that I didn't notice their second or third 7-inch was out. There was Let's Have Satanic Party both in English and Spanish. It's when I noticed it is released, it was $90 already. So
Satanic doo-wop.
planning to buy. Yes, and this
Amazing.
is like doo-wop music, but all the lyrics are like from the Hammer films about Satan and witches and things like that. And they were in Finland once, and I was thinking, okay, I'll go to see them, but I didn't like their full album because it was too much similar stuff. This is single band for me at least. But I was watching the videos, YouTube videos from the concert, that they was starting like some satanic mass with the swords and candles, and I think that's too childish for me to go see. I never did go to see them, but this is really fun listen music, especially if you are like in those old Hammer films and things like that. I really like this one, and looking maybe they're going to do some more music.
Also, it's in mono too. That's good.
Yes, it's in mono.
Thank God
Mono.
it's in mono.
Well, if I'm going to
Yeah.
spend
I think they
$60 for a 7-inch record, I want it in mono.
Fuck
Oh
yeah.
yeah, geez.
And
Mo-fi.
they're like the diehard edition of the LPs and etc. They are like full frontal nudity pictures in the covers, and so
Die Hard.
this is excellent fun band, but maybe the full album is too much to listen at once.
You're from LA, huh?
Single. I don't know. It's from States.
Yeah,
That's what it says.
that's what it says. Satanic doo-wop from Los Angeles.
Very cool.
That's
Yeah.
I've never seen that
Probably.
description before.
Yeah, that's a first for me
Yeah.
too, for genre.
Yeah. This was not the band to go to see with wife, but this one with saw in 2019. Stray Cats. They back. There was in the Pori Jazz Festival. There was the main act there. Excellent show where all the classics and the best tracks from this album. Stray Cats.
Yeah.
You guys know what the band is.
I
I have been
yeah.
listening it since their first album.
I have a story about Stray Cats. So I was living in Tucson at the time, and this would have been about 1978, 79 or whatever. This was shortly after Stray Cats had sort of debuted onto the scene. And so a friend said, "Hey, man, the Stray Cats are playing at Choo Choo's, which is this bar down on 4th Street. It was known for, it was part of the Austin, LA circuit. So it got a lot of acts that would come through from Austin and bands from LA. So we were like, okay, yeah, let's go. And we get there, and he misunderstood the name of the band. It wasn't the Stray Cats. It was the Alley Cats, which is a very hardcore LA punk band. Really hardcore. Now, I have some Alley Cat records now, and I like them. But at that time, I was like prepared for Stray Cats. And then this band comes out, and we're like, these guys suck or whatever. and he, the guy that told us about this, he takes a pitcher of beer. He goes up to the stage, drinks from the pitcher of beer, and then spits it out all over the band. And it didn't faze them, didn't faze anybody, you know. And he came back, and we were like, I think they like that kind of stuff, you know. So, I mean, I don't think you expressed any displeasure. I mean, I think they liked it. So, but anyway, that was my introduction to the Alley Cats. And I like their music.
Stray Cats.
Was that?
Stray Cats got their first gold. Stray Cats got their first gold record for record selling in Finland. And Brian Setzer really like Finland, and he stayed here in his vacation. He has stayed in longer times in Finland, and actually in the 90s, very near my shop where I have film shop, like 50 meters, there was a rockabilly rock and roll record shop, Big Beat. Brian Setzer was sitting there like whole summer when they are not touring or anything. He was sitting there in that record shop and listening these Pete Big Beats records there and drinking beer in the shop.
Wow,
I was so introvert. I never go there and get he's signing like the records that he did sign the records when you just bring it there and he put it.
Oh, that's nice to know that he likes Finland. Maybe one of these days I'll get to Finland as well.
Yeah,
so many places to go, and I'm running
all
out
the
of
bands
time.
always they come to have show and they get, we love this city and we love to Finland. In this time, it was really real.
Yeah,
It was
right.
not fake.
Yeah.
All right, so Jason, here's your first
All
round.
right.
So you can. What do you got?
Record.
This is like my third stream this week. I gotta say, save the best for last though. I haven't done my video yet for best of 2019, but I will do it after this. I'll start off with some hardcore first, I guess. I got a couple of hardcore records here to show. This is Khiis, Khiis, and I think they sing in Persian, if I recall.
Many like that album.
But they are an American band, right? I think maybe out of Portland.
Yeah.
Bezoar. Yeah, it's on La Vida es un Muse. Great UK label. Khiis. And I think I've seen them live. I think I saw them live back in the day, and I have a cassette by them as well. That's pretty good, in your face, hardcore. The vocals aren't too heavy. Pretty good. I think it'll probably be in my top 10. This one is much heavier on the vocals. This one, Game, out of London, UK. But the lyrics are in Polish sometimes. No one wins. And this is like really heavy vocal, female fronted though. So this is the lead singer, Ola. And she also runs the pretty well-known hardcore label Quality Control out of the UK, which also pressed this record, but oddly enough, I have the US pressing of this on Beach Impediment Records out of Virginia. So yeah, the Game, No One Wins, and yeah, you can see some of the song titles are in Polish. So she goes back and forth between Polish and English, and it's pretty heavy, in your face, black vinyl. Couple hardcore. I'll do one more hardcore record just to get these out of the way here. This one of the three, I think this one is my fave. That would be in order here. And this is another G band. This is Gasm. And these guys are quite local. They're from Montreal. So I saw them play a couple times. And I have a tape, obviously, a demo tape as well. But this is their first full-length album. kind of rare, like, well, not fully rare, but a lot of hardcore bands will put out 7s more than full albums. But here we got a full album. That's a band, young kids, next generation. I remember the first time I saw them, they were in full like normcore gear. That was kind of the style at the time, like tucked in shirts and weird khaki pants while you're doing some windmill kicks in the mosh pit. This is on 11 p.m. Records, and it is a translucent kind of green vinyl. So this is Gasm. This is a better of the three, I'd say, because this is a real crossover record. It's got a lot of metal and hardcore punk crossover. Just better songwriting, like more memorable riffs and stuff. A little bit more variety in the songs. A lot of fucking fun. Pretty short songs. I don't know what happened to these guys over the pandemic, because I think they moved to the East Coast or something, but I like how they're like repping like the bands on their shirts, like Mould he's got there, and Crowbar this other guy's got. But yeah, good future hardcore stars, Gasm.
Is that like their only one?
I think it's their only full length. I'm waiting to see, like where they're at these days. If they're gonna put out like another 7-inch or a tape or something, or if they're still recording, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
3 punk records.
Because I'm anticipating, Chris, you had mentioned that you probably are going to show 1 or 2 records that I have pulled also. That's fine. Go ahead. So I'm going to just instead of showing 2 records at a time, I'll show for a little bit, 1 at a time. And so this one here is there we go. This is Gary Clark Jr. All right. And this album, I think this is his latest. He hasn't done anything, I don't think, since this one. Probably more known for electric blues, kind of a stylized, a little bit similar to, Jimi Hendrix, and also a little bit of Jack White kind of blues player. But with this one, he broadens his sound, and also he gets very, I don't want to say necessarily political, but he's reading people. So the title song, "This Land," that's the record is "This Land," is his retort to a racist neighbor who didn't believe he deserved to own his Texas ranch. So the song "This Land Is Mine" is sort of a, his retort to this neighbor. But it's also very much a record about the whole scene that was going on at that time in 2019 with police brutality in the African American community. And there are a lot of other similar themed songs within the record. That doesn't, however, the record is really, really solid. It's I say he's kind of buying his style of playing. So there's he's bringing in some hip hop rhythms that he punctuates with a very fuzzed out guitar. He pulls in blues, funk, psychedelic riffs that are almost like they're floating on these like clouds of soul that he brings into the music. The sentiment of this album is he's very angry but proud, and then there's all of these moments of tenderness, but he doesn't sink into sentimentality. It's a very very strong album, really, really quite good. It's a double album. I mean, it says on here it was album of the year by, I don't know which group or what agency or whatever that identified it as such. But Gary Clark Jr., very talented blues guitar. His core style is a blues guitar, kind of Texas blues. and but really good. He's been at the Chicago Blues Fest before, so again, yeah, if you like electric blues and blues guitarists and Texas blues, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Johnny Winter, and others. I'm very sure that you will enjoy Gary Clark Jr. So that's what I have for this round. All right, Chris.
Okay, well, I don't have that record, so I don't know if you thought that was one of the ones I would have or not, but it's not. So next one I'm going to show.
No, that's not what I meant. You can go ahead and show the ones you think I have.
Okay, well, I'm still going to hold off on. I'm still holding off on those for a bit. But
all right.
This is a group I showed a couple of weeks ago. So this is $75 bill. I Was Real. It's a nice thick. It's a textured cover. I Was Real. This is it's a double LP. And so if you guys remember when I described them a couple weeks ago, I described them as a two-piece band because that's what they were then. A guy named Rick Brown, who was the percussionist, including he did a lot of drumming on like wooden boxes. And Che Chen, who is a guitar player who plays a lot in a Northwest African style, more of the Mauritanian style as opposed to the Tuareg style. So they continued with this, but for this album, most of the songs have them with other musicians. So they'll bring in a bass player, they'll bring in a saxophone player, they'll bring in somebody playing cello or viola. And so it's more of a full band sound as opposed to just a couple of guys. Some of the songs are in what's called the Wazin style, which is sort of the Mauritanian wedding song music, which is similar but not identical to the Tuareg wedding songs from like southern Algeria and Mali and Niger from some of the other bands that some of us have talked about. I happen to have a Mauritanian comp album as well of that Wazin style, which is kind of interesting. It's less commercial than, I think it's less obvious to the Western ear than like your Tenari Wen and Mdu Mokhtar and those sorts of people. But I would say I showed their CD a couple of weeks ago. I would say if you were going to get one $75 bill record, this is probably the one to get. I think this is the stronger of the records.
Interesting. Yeah, it's both you and Steve Carlson. Exposed me to more African music. I learned about so many newer African bands, and even with some of the older stuff. But
I don't really know that much. There's just like little niches I've dove into a bit, but I have huge blind spots with African music.
Well, yeah, same here. But you show records. Steve Carlson shows records that that are interesting, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to be on the lookout for them.
Yeah,
because
and strictly speaking, this isn't an African record. These are American musicians inspired by African musicians.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Where are they from?
New York City.
New York City. Okay. Interesting. That style of music is, spreading. That's very cool.
But yeah, it's sort of interesting because, I mean, the guitar player, he's Asian, so it's not like he's not an African. He's not from those ethnic groups. So I don't exactly know how he got sort of enthralled with that style, but he did. So.
Yeah. All right, Tommy, what's up?
Okay, I have a couple hardcore records here. You start with this 7-inch. It's Kätyrlauma. I did find this band last year. The second EP is the best of 2022, best record, but this one is 2019. I remember I heard the name then, but I think I thought that there are some kind of power metal band that are playing some rubbish metal and singing in strange dialect. But actually they have little different approach to lyrics than the other bands. This Kätyr-lauma, it's me like a bunch of criminals, maybe you can say, but it's in the Kätyr is like old style of Finnish word, and the lyrics of this band are like they're singing about medieval times and 1600s, 1700s, 1800s. About witches, and he has one song about Kekri. Kekri is Finnish celebration like Halloween, but it's in the old times when the originally was after the when the autumn came. You was celebrating that, and really good. This is also female fronted. Really good lyrics here, super fast, and this has this little booklet that is in medieval time. Lyrics here, it's for me, it's really hard to read this, but excellent band. Really looking to see them live. Hopefully they came to Helsinki sometimes, and then another band. This is also a little bit different approach to hardcore. Like usual one. This is Konepistoli, and this is from Greek. So this is Greek band, and Konepistoli is machine gun in Finnish, and actually this soldier is the Finnish soldier in Second World War having this Finnish machine gun. Yeah, and here's also Finnish flag in the background, and they made two versions of this album. One version where they sing all the songs in Finnish, and another one that they sing every same songs in Greek. So I of course have the Finnish album, and this is so much Rattus worship than ever could be. So this is like you listen 80s Rattus songs that you have never heard before. The sound is similar. The style is similar. They have some cover of the Rattus more famous songs like the Reaganin joululahja, Christmas present of Reagan. They have here Christmas present of Obama, and there was some another Rattus cover if I remember right. And this guy Apostol, I'm not sure is he the singer. He was coming to Finland. I have made appointment in him. Planning to do record label interview with him, but sadly there was some striking in Germany, so no flights there, and they have just really reissued first time Rattus 1986. Ihmiset on sairaita EP, that is top 5 hardcore EPs ever, and it was the first reissue of that EP. I don't know how it's possible that almost everything bigger are reissued already. Great labels here, and this Finnish label Kamaset Record, and yes, also
so the
nice looking
Greek
with lyrics. What? They are from Greek, yes. From
So
I think they are from
Greece,
Latin,
and they also sing in Finnish, and it's on a Swedish label.
yes.
Nice.
I know the label is Finnish, and they have the Apostol have own label, Terminal Records. So this is the Finnish version came in Finnish label, and the Greek version of this Apostol guy's own label, Terminal Records. That is, I have a couple other records also from them. They are really good. It seems that there are some kind of click in Greece. They are listening Finnish hardcore because there are a couple other bands also doing like tribute records to Finnish bands.
Oh, it just shows how global.
When I see the Apostol, I'm going to ask what is the wrong in Greece when listening only Finnish hardcore there. But I can also ask that about from Koskis, from Legopaidi. But this is excellent nice. Rattus worship, very good record. One of my favorite from 2019. Yes.
Global punk movement, global punk community.
Yeah, this is like the new Sonic Poison the cassette is United
Yes.
States and LP in UK and the CD from Indonesia.
Yes. Actually, on the back of, I was just reading on the back of one of my hardcore records, it says released by International DIY Hardcore Punk Conspiracy. It's like a conspiracy. It's international.
Sorry, I got bumped off there.
Yeah.
I lost my signal, and
You're back.
Many.
yeah. So sorry, I missed that. So I was going to comment that
Okay, I start.
the Finnish and Greek flag are very similar. I didn't realize that, with the blue and white and the cross.
Right.
So
Yeah, in same colors, but in vice versa.
yeah. All right. So Jason, that brings you up.
All right. I'm going to do a couple of experimental records for this year. Two real faves of mine. And one, I just did a mixtape last night for the shop, and I included one of these, and I didn't even realize it was from 2019. So good thing I had pulled it for the mix, and then I realized it's from 2019. So both of these records are a little bit quieter, ambient, but better than anything I've shown so far. And they're both pretty conceptual as well. So I'll start off with Andrew Peckler first. I've kind of showed Andrew Peckler before. He's did that Ursula Bogner thing, the sort of fake German synth artist, whatever. So again, he's on the same label on Fetish Records from Germany. And this one is called Sounds from Phantom Islands. It's a really cool concept record. So very intricate, interesting sort of music concrete sounds, nothing too harsh. So the whole concept here is Phantom Islands are islands that appeared on historical maps but never actually existed during European colonization, 15th to 19th century. And so they have a picture here on the back of this map with these are sort of fake islands that the European conquerors thought existed. So what he did is he made sort of musical sounds for each of these islands. So all the tracks are named after the islands. It's pretty interesting and fun and out there stuff.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, so a cool record from 2019. Andrew Peckler does a lot of cool stuff like that. I think he's American originally. I'm not sure. And the second record I've got is also from Montreal, close to here. This is an artist, Hazy Montagne Musique, or Hazy Montagne Mystique, actually. And I've recorded with him before. We did a split tape. He runs the label, among other people, called Genèse Cosmique, so Cosmic Youth. They started their label kind of around the same time as mine, because I remember meeting him at like a record swap thing and got his first vinyl on a different project that he was doing. But this one is a really cool project, 2019. It's got a lot of, he's Vietnamese background, so it's got a lot of like interesting vocal snippets and samples and ambient and some guitar and like some vocals. So there's snippets in French. There's snippets in Vietnamese as well. There's just loads of song titles on each side. So it kind of plays like a movie in a way. It's almost like a soundtrack or something. The name of the album is called Tuna te retourne pas. I'm not saying that very well in French, but something about you're not returning back or something. But yeah, Hazy Montagne Mystique. Usually puts out cassettes, like not a lot of vinyl on this label, Genèse Cosmique, but yeah, really cool shit. I used it in the mix, like kind of in between songs, like connecting songs and stuff. But so that's my two ambient picks for 2019.
Yeah, all right, ambient. I got some weirdness later here in that.
All right. Yeah, that one's pretty psychedelic, I gotta say.
Yeah. All right. So for this, I'll do a couple records for this one. And the first one is a hip hop rap artist who is divisive in some respects among the hip hop community. And that's Aesop Rock. and this is Aesop Rock and with Tobacco doing Malibu Can. Very freaky album cover, very freaky oops label, going with it on this blue vinyl. It seems like I really like this album. I think this is a really, really strong album. However, in the hip hop community, as I said, people are very much divided. You either love Aesop Rock or you hate him. And there are people who think he's great, brilliant. Others who think that he's a no talent, know nothing. It's really weird how the division within the community and within listeners, but I just really think his wordsmithing is really amazing. I mean, some of these lines in here with one of the songs are like, someday we'll find a way to make these billionaires obey us, coming out through the song. I think that's what the opening track, Corn, means. The song Tuesday is about, he's out on the road and his neighbor calls him up and she's freaking out because his car is so filthy that there are mushrooms growing inside his car, and he's like totally unfazed by it. There's another song in there where I love this line too. If anybody out there, show me a sign. Leaders of the free world blowing on dice. We load our bows. We close our eyes. One of the things that he tends to get criticized for is that he doesn't really sing. He's very monotone in his delivery. But Tobacco also does some really nice work with the music that Aesop is rapping over. And the songs are not so much about Aesop. I guess I'm not that familiar with his early material, and I guess he is more introspective with a lot of his earlier material than with this one. But this one is just a little more straightforward. It's not really deep. It's a little more accessible. The one weird song is called Acid King, and it looks at this like famous murder of Gary Lawyers, who was killed by Ricky Casso, who was known as the Acid King. And this brutal murder took place while they were all tripping. And it was a fairly wide known, it got a lot of media coverage when it happened. I never had heard of it, but it's just his take on the whole thing is really interesting because the song, he puts it in the perspective of what was going on in 1984 and some of the other events that were going on. It was just, I like his stuff, but like I say, he's divisive. There are people who think that he doesn't know, or he doesn't have the cred, I guess is what I'm saying.
He's run record labels and stuff before, so he's
and he's got quite a catalog, and the reviews are pretty much stellar and glowing. So it seems to be most of the criticism seems to be mostly within the community. I mean, I think of The College Dropout by Kanye West. That's regardless of what I think of Kanye West, I mean, that is a really good album. I mean, that's a pretty incredible record that he put together. But I still think, and I have Mad Villainy. I have that, and that is a really.
I don't mind some of the vocals of the Aesop Rock, but I don't like the production style on that album that you showed. Like, it's just too too modern, too kind of commercial sounding, that record. I don't know if his other records are the same production, but I'm more old school when it comes to hip hop. So
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar with his early material, but so I have nothing to compare to. The production, we were talking about this in the Gunkles in our recent taping, sometime, and Craig was talking about this, and I'm kind of the same thing. Sometimes when the production is like so bad, then I'll notice it in that. But then a lot of times the production, I don't, it is what it is. I don't really, I'm also.
Well, these songs, they sound very kind of, there's almost like a pop sensibility, sort of a mainstream.
Yeah, it's a much
vibe.
more accessible album,
Yeah,
as far as I understand, than his earlier material. Now, this other one I want to show is I've talked about this band before, Dutch band, De Staat, and this is a post rock, hard rock. This is Bubblegum, a nice lenticular cover. Very cool. I have almost their entire catalog now. Their lyrics are generally very political, and they're very harsh critics. As they say, it's a Dutch band, and with some of the members being expats from Eastern European countries. So many of their songs have to deal with oppression and things like that. But a couple songs, Kitty Kitty is an easy one to find on YouTube. And so also is Pikachu, the song Pikachu. It's pretty funny. But yeah, De Staat. This is their most recent album. I don't think they've done anything since this one. So do like their stuff. However, because it doesn't get over here to the U.S. much. I've never, on occasion in Discogs, I have found a seller, an American seller who is selling it, but almost exclusively it's the sellers over in Europe who have it. I've never seen it in a store here in the U.S. In all my travels, I've never seen any other.
That's also a very modern sounding record too, right? Like their production is very.
Oh yeah, it's
high end.
Yeah, it is. It's
digital.
It's in terms of production. Yeah, this is where I'll say that. Yeah, this is an excellently produced album. But I think a lot of their albums are recorded really, really well and are high quality. Of all the ones I have, none of them are. If there's any diminishing factor with the album, it's the music. A weakness in the songs or lyrics or something like that. But they all sound really, really good. So De Staat is.
I got schooled the other day. Well, it was good because I got some information about some more like Netherlands, Dutch punk bands, classic punk bands of the 80s and 90s on a different stream I was on. Because I really don't have a lot of Dutch in the rock or punk or indie era. I mean, I have a lot of Dutch DJs, a lot of Dutch electronic music. But
yeah, there was
more
a recent
stuff to explore.
Actually, it was Belgian, the band that I recently discovered because they have a reissue that came out in what do you call it? It was a 1980 something record, and they were affiliated. I can't remember the band's name. I'm going to have to quickly check my collection in Discogs because it's a recent entry. Aksak Mabul. So, but yeah, that was. I didn't have it yet, and I could have talked about it last week because it was a 2018 reissue of this 1980 song. But they are affiliated. If you've ever heard of Henry Cow, they're affiliated with that band from like the 1970s, 80s. Anyway, that's what I have for my round. What you got, Chris?
Okay, so you were talking about bad production. Does that have anything to do with? I think you guys were doing 1987 on the Gunkles this week.
Yeah.
Is that why bad production was in your head?
Well, yeah, because there was
80s
some
aren't bad.
talk about one of the
Yeah.
records that
That happened to be the year I graduated from high school, so I'm looking forward to fifth and ripping the bad records of that year.
there were some
Well, there were some horror shows that year.
Oh God, yes. We all
So,
had
okay.
some choice. We all had some choice words for some. Really,
All right, let's show a good record from 2019.
Yes.
So let's show "Sound and Fury" by Sturgill Simpson. So I've been talking about Sturgill Simpson the past.
He is so
weeks.
all over the place too. I mean, I didn't
Yes.
realize how. What's this one like?
Okay, so this record, so his previous record from a couple years earlier had won him a Grammy for Best Country Music Album. This is not a country music album in any way of thinking about it. It's got elements of psychedelic, it's got elements of boogie rock, it's got electronic elements, but it's definitely not a country album. He made a Japanese style anime to go along with the album.
That's cool.
And you've got songs like Make Art Not Friends, Mercury in Retrograde. I mean, Sturgill Simpson definitely has that Neil Youngish streak where if you try to box him into a genre, his impulse will be not do that. And then, of course, what did he do immediately after this album? He did his bluegrass albums right after this. So, yeah. Yeah, the bluegrass albums were the ones he did after this record. But I know there are certain people that didn't like this album at all because it was so far away from being a country record. But Sturgill's like, hey, this is part of what I'm into, and this is what I wanted to do this particular year. So that's what I did.
I'm gonna have to find that record. That
artistic freedom.
It's personally my favorite of his records.
Yeah.
A nuclear explosion on the cover. That's good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I haven't been showing off cool colored vinyl.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. We're definitely in that era. In 2019, it's all coming colored.
Yeah.
I actually.
What kind of car is that on that cover?
What's that?
What kind of car was that though on the cover? Was that a Charger or something?
Pontiac.
It looks like a Charger or a Pontiac. It doesn't actually. I don't think it directly specifies it. There's also, you can see it looks like a car radio there. So there's a bit of the car radio sort of interplay between songs, which sort of reminds me of that Queens of the Stone Age record.
Looks like a Cro-Mags cover. That cloud.
Yeah. Yeah.
See,
he's like, I'm not doing a country album this year, guys.
I've learned again, because you have brought up the Sturgill Simpson albums. I got the bluegrass albums, and I love those bluegrass albums. And then he had that other album that was like right after that, which was very country, or maybe it was an earlier album. I can't remember. And I was like,
I think you said High Top Mountain, right?
Yeah, High Top Mountain.
Okay, that was actually his debut. So.
Oh, okay. So I thought he was like strictly bluegrass. I did not know that was like just one of his phases. And then I got this other album which was very country, and it's an okay album, but it was like I'm not interested in getting any more Sturgill Simpson after that. But now I realize.
I mean, that's personally that one you're describing, High Top Mountain. That's my least favorite of his catalog. Yeah. So, I mean, if somebody had never heard Sturgill Simpson before, I wouldn't send him to that record.
Yeah.
So,
nice cover.
I have never heard. Don't send me.
Yeah.
I don't know who it is.
I wouldn't.
I have seen that album cover a couple times.
Yeah.
I would buy that record maybe from that cover. Yeah, that cover.
Right. Cool. Yeah. You know what? It would be that one too. But even the High Lonesome is one that I would frame that because it's a pretty
album covers need nuclear explosions. I would be there.
Yeah.
Everybody needs one of those.
That's that's a bitch cover, as they say in the Midwest. Oh, what's that? Hold on.
Yes, that's cool.
That's the other tape that Tommy sent me.
That's a cool one.
It's
Nice.
finished.
Have you listened to it already?
Finished Disco Babes.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. That brings you up, Tommy. What you got?
Yeah, okay. Actually, I have also band from, I think it's Netherlands, Dutch. It's Mantra Machine, and the record is Heliosfere, and this is, I call it space rock, but I just looked at it, space rock, psychedelic rock, stoner rock, and here's inside pictures of about this Voyager and what are these space machines.
Yeah. That looks like trajectories for spacecraft.
Yeah, and I think I ordered this as some kind of colored record, but it was only black. What a disappointment! But anyway, it's really good. Only instrumental. No, so there's no lyrics at all. Instrumental music. I also ordered it in quite much in same time. This band Coma Koser. This is from Australia, and this is Mydriasis. It's something about Greek, I think, because the singer has Greek name at least. And this was also, they had done like this reissues, and those are all those multicolored records, all kind of different, very, very psychedelic records. But then this is also instrumental space rock, psychedelic rock. I really like to. This is music that are very good listen when you are working. You can put it in background, and it's very nice. Hardcore
The entire
records
album
are
is instrumental.
Yeah, and there's like
Okay.
also like 4 songs, I think. Not many songs.
Okay.
All. I haven't opened it because there's this hype sticker, and there I think there is only, I don't know what is inside here. Seems to be quite much black.
I usually
black
just
inside.
peel the hype sticker
But
off and then I stick it
excellent
up.
music listening when you're background are.
Yeah. All right.
I'm so lazy. I like to keep this like this way. If you see it, that there's nothing very special inside. They're reading on only something there. That's okay for me. But excellent music listen, and you can listen this in background when you are working, not like those hardcore records. It's pretty difficult to listen. Listen. Yes, but hey, this was my show today, and I go to watching evening news and preparing to tomorrow. I have quite much job to do tomorrow. So have fun, and Chris, I'm waiting to see your video about those tapes that you have shown.
All right. We'll let you know when it's ready.
Yes. Bye. And have
See you, Tommy.
yeah.
Take care, man.
Yeah, see
All
you.
right. Thanks for joining.
Thanks again.
We'll see
Yes,
you.
thanks.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, all right then, Jason, what have you got for us?
All right. Well, I'll keep some punk stuff going, even though Tommy's left the building. I got 2 records here that are influences from the VC from YouTube land, even though I only started doing my VC videos in like 2021. This one was actually a VCLT. This is a all-female garage rock, garage punk band from Memphis, which, by the way, I saw the other day a video. There's a guy in the VC who did a video under 11 minutes, a record or an artist from every single state in the union. So I'm thinking about doing this as well. He actually couldn't do Vermont, which is weird because I'm pretty sure I got Vermont. I don't think I'll be able to do Hawaii.
Fish will
Right?
get you Vermont.
Yeah.
Grace Potter and the Nocturnals will get you Vermont, but apparently he doesn't listen to that kind of music. So
He had a lot of like really classic bands and artists, you know, Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers and whatever kind of thing. And his cheat, well, I mean, it's not really a cheat, but like he would also show if they were if they were born in that state, you know, like maybe like they moved to LA, but they were born in Idaho or whatever. So he could cover that. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do Hawaii. That would be real hard.
Could you do that with Canadian provinces and territories?
Yeah, I could probably do, well, territories would be tough, but I probably could do each province.
Prince Edward Island?
Yeah, well, I do. I have. There's actually a cool punk label out of there called Suicide.
Okay.
For yeah, I think I've got that. But these guys are from Memphis, and I got this
Green Gables hardcore.
Green Gables. Oh, I love Green Gables and Green Gables. Great. This is actually a record from Ryan Kidd.
Yeah, cool.
My dearest Skillsy, enjoy the noise. I actually heard of Knots before I met Ryan Kidd. I had a 45, a 7-inch by Knots, where they were doing a cover of TVOD by The Normal. I thought that was really cool. It was like a really minimalist garage rock version of it. So this is Knots 3, is the third album. All female fronted, like I said, and it's pretty fun garage punk. And this record I saw, I'm pretty sure it was Vinyl Richie who showed it first. I had to get it just from the album cover.
Oh, yeah,
George Costanza. That is George Costanza as a crust punk, dreadlocks and all. And it's actually a split. They couldn't even do a full album. It's a split with another band called Oxygen Destroyer. And actually, there's some band members, I think, in both bands for this project here. This is a great record.
But the new Costanza was the one who would sell.
Fuck yeah. I'd say this is the front cover and this is the back cover, but slightly different crust punk on both sides. I'd say the Costanza is a little more hardcore than crust in a way, but it's in your face. And man, the vocals on this side, they sound like it's like a 15-year-old kid. It's pretty high pitched and pretty youthful. And then the other side's a little heavier on the vocal. But yeah, what a record. What a fucking cool record. I would love, imagine if you could go to some Seinfeld reunion and like just show that to George Costanza, Jason Alexander. Get him to sign it. There's a dream. Everyone's got a dream, right? That's my dream.
Right.
So do you have him sign it as Jason Alexander or George Costanza?
I think it's George. I think get the George signature. I'll show one more. Since we're just talking about provinces, this is from a western province in Canada, from Calgary, from Alberta. This is the band Dry Heave. This is some industrial punk. I actually helped them with one of their gigs here locally at a punk fest. Co-hosted them. They played at a basement punk house. It was a sick set. They're I think they're like a 4-piece. The lead singer is trans and just full of energy, jumping off the scales. But it's kind of an industrial angle because they don't have a drummer. It's like a drum machine. So I think there's actually a sax player too in there. Like it's a whole mishmash of stuff going on. It's pretty aggressive overall. So I'd say like industrial punk. Those are some of the song titles. Pretty cool artwork too. So this is like their debut self-release album by Dry Heave. But I do have a couple of their cassettes as well. Out of Calgary. Hope to see them again. They're really good live. Probably better live than on vinyl.
That's
my punk.
Interesting
punk
band.
Swing.
I always thought a good name for a punk band would be Dead Vegetables. So,
well, Dead Kennedys has Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables. It's their first album.
yeah. So, it could be an homage to them. So, all right. So I'm going to show in this one, I got 3 records and one of them is like really there. First one about this in previous ones, and I see my will get dropped like I did earlier, but we'll see how it goes. And that's the Mould label. And so this band, I mean, the cover is kind of OB strip. Let me pull this out though. All right, this is Kana Beerbud, which is a Thai band. So yeah, here's the song title. It's a psychedelic garage rock band, and again, we're talking about a band that the name of the band kind of beer mood is Strange Brew. That's how it translates. So I don't know if that was an intentional homage to in their Strange Brew. The it's a garage like style music. It's used some Thai time. They're similar to Kagaku Moil, and which I'm familiar with. I like that. And then their compared with is Dungeon or Dungan, Dungen. I am completely unfamiliar with that band. I don't know what they sound like. But and this is their only release. But, the group has a lot of they specialize in from bands from East, and they're just really, really cool. There's that one, and then I'll put that back in. Now this one, Painted Faces and Tales of the Skinny Apartment. His cover is just really weird, total weirdness, and the record is too. It's one of these experimental kind of experimental thing because it's all one guy who is doing it. His name is, let me grab it here, David Drucker. I believe he's from New York City. And when you talk about categories, the category this one gets lumped under is experimental psychedelic weirdo. He's got a lot of releases. He's done, but not very many on vinyl. It's one of the few ones that's available on vinyl. Another thing apparently he does is that he's got a couple releases where he makes a cover when somebody buys a record, or when he to I don't know how they get into record stores. I don't think he's pulls record stores. I think records because people like them, and his music so bizarre that they may think it's unlistenable, and then that's how it's in a record store as a used record. What he does, he creates a cover when somebody buys a record. So they can be that unique, and I guess at the point, not collectible because he's so out there. It's weird that he doesn't really. I don't even think he has a cult following, and I still find this record hard to take. I don't completely dismiss it. I don't hate it, but it's one of those records that you don't pull out very often to listen. It really does test your tolerance for experimental music. Then there's this one here. This is I bought this because of the cover, and I've talked about this record before in other videos. Very cool splatter vinyl. This is a Japanese band, the DeLoreans, and it's jazz fusion, very much influenced by Frank Zappa from Zappa's era of jazz fusion with the Calvinwazoo tours, and even to some degree with Hot Rats. Very good stuff. It's a fairly big band as well. There's I'm trying to look here, and not all that big. There's like 6 or so, but yeah, there's lots of different instruments on here, from synthesizers and organs to bass and cello and flute and saxophone, guitar. Yeah, it's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. I do like it, but again, if you are not into, if you don't like Zappa's jazz fusion era, particularly with the Grand Wazoo tour, you're probably not going to like this. But if you do enjoy that particular period in Zappa's catalog, this is right up your alley. This is something that you'll enjoy. So that's what I have for that round.
What was the name of the first experimental record? I was trying to look it up.
It is Painted Faces.
Okay. And you're saying like he kind of makes them bespoke, like makes them one at a time kind of thing?
That's what I understand, because I've looked up in Discogs. I've looked him up before in the store that I bought this from actually has some other items. So I'm guessing that's either he bought them direct, the owner of the store bought them direct from the guy who does this. What's his name again? David Drucker. He either bought them directly from David Drucker, or, as I say, they may have been used records that somebody bought thinking that this was going to be cool psychedelic stuff, and then didn't realize that it's very lo-fi as well as being way out there. I mean, it really is. But it's listenable to me, and I don't mind. I don't mind music that tests my tests my boxes that I create for music. I mean, we all kind of create our boxes and categories and what we think is music and what we think is not music.
You know what's funny is it's like the old adage: there's good and bad in everything, right? There's good country, there's bad country, there's good noise, there's bad noise, there's good experimental, there's bad experimental. It's weird. It's weird how that works.
Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
It's not just the genre. It's
Chris, what you have up here now?
Okay, so you remember when artists used to put out like 2 records a year? They used to do that.
Oh yeah.
And
or if you're King Gizzard and you put out 6
it doesn't get done much anymore. I mean, of course, there's King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard and Guided by Voices, but I've got another example. So it's my weekly Juliana Hatfield records. She had 2 in 2019. So early in 2019 was Juliana Hatfield Weird. I think the album cover design's really cool. This album's all about sort of being introverted, hanging out by yourself, kind of staying in. One of the songs on it's called Staying In. This is kind of a trippy way of doing the track list. This song, Lost Ship, which is like one of her hands, is honestly one of my all-time favorite songs of hers. And she has like 20 or so records out there. So this is a very introspective record after her rather political, angry record, Pussycat, from a couple years earlier. So this was much more sort of an introspective, inwardly focused sort of record. And American Laundromat always has nice fancy colors, nice blue for this. And then later that year, she put out a covers album. She did Olivia Newton-John in 2018. I missed last week. So she did her Police covers album in late 2019. So you can see there's the Police guys and then Juliana all in silhouette. And this is one of those albums where, she picked some of the hits, but she picked a lot of sort of the deep cut that songs with sort of social meaning, like Landlord and Rehumanize Yourself, which are not the sort of things that would be on a Police greatest hits comp. Roxanne, I hate her version of Roxanne. She slows it down. It's no good. Hole in My Life, which is literally the song after Roxanne on Landos d'Amour. Her version is way better. Basically, it's one of those where I never really bought Sting singing about angst and despair, but Juliana Hatfield, that's totally up her alley. Sting, not so much. So Hole in My Life is now, in my mind, a Juliana song, and she should leave Roxanne to the Police.
Yeah, those
And-
are. Looks like a nice color variant too.
Oh, yeah.
We missed your Juliana Hatfield last week.
Yeah.
So we're getting a double dose of it now.
Yeah. Last week would have been the Olivia Newton-John cover album. So my thing about that was I didn't buy it when it first came out because I was like, okay, she's gone off the deep end. But
commercial now.
But it's actually I actually really like it. And she's doing another one of those this year. I should tell you who it is, and you'll probably be dismayed, Jason.
ELO.
An
ELO. Oh God. Yeah.
But she basically blends like 70s commercial music with like 80s alternative. So they'll be like, you've got like the Olivia Newton-John and the ELO, but then you've got like the Replacements and the X influences going on. So
it's not quite as tacky as Miley Cyrus covering like the Plasmatics on her album cover or whatever.
No, she definitely will give this commercial a more indie alternative feel to it.
Yeah.
Throw in some wacky fuzzy guitar solos. And like with the Olivia songs, a lot of them were like had like that late 70s studio musician vibe all over them. And she dirties them up a bit. So
that's fun.
FYI, we are coming up on the 2-hour mark. I have 2 more rounds that I will do.
Okay.
Yep. So all right. So what do you got?
Okay, I'll do a synthwave round, and I got to show some Boy Harsher. Okay, I kind of cheated last week. There was a couple fuck ups last week. I got to admit it right now. Full disclosure, I showed a Boy Harsher record that was from like 2014. But what it was an extended. Man. I know, Richard. I know.
We never would have known if you hadn't told us.
Yeah, but I felt the guilt. I felt guilt over it all week. In fact, it was so fucked up because I was making my top 10 2018.
Dangerous thing.
Oh, it's bad. I was making my top 10 of 2018 and I included it at first. And then I had to redo my whole video because it was not from 2018. It was an extended version that was released in 2018. So I was sort of there. Anyway, this is a 2019 album this time, I'm pretty sure, by Boy Harsher. Careful. It's called Careful. And the whole story still stands that I saw them live in Santa Cruz, and they are amazing synthwave duo. The guy is on the keyboards and everything, and the girl is doing the sultry kind of dark wave kind of vocals, post-punk kind of vibes as well. Just really, really well done. Great. Can't emphasize enough. Good band. Boy Harsher. And also from 2019, this one's on Dark Entries label out of San Fran. TV Out is the name of the band. The project, Dusk Till Dawn. And this has got total like 1980s EBM industrial influences. It's actually a duo from Tel Aviv, Israel. So don't have a lot of Israeli stuff. I did release an Israeli techno producer one time on my label. But yeah, this is a 6-track EP, and all tracks are really cool. Good variety of industrial and synthwave stuff on here. Nothing too harsh. More definitely for the dance floor, industrial dance on Dusk Till Dawn. And that's on Dark Entries, which is a great label out of San Fran, but you can't see because got the wrap. Got the shrink on there. One more I'll do for this round. Another synth. Yeah, one more synth one. This band called LFDM. I don't even know how to hold this right. Yeah, there's the band LFDM. I think it's actually a solo artist. Again, very influenced by the 80s hard industrial dance kind of vibe, EBM style. Electronic body music is EBM. It's on the City Tracks label, which is really good for that style. I think he's from Germany. I think it's a Berlin artist, and it's on that colored vinyl that all the kids are going for. Well, all the old folks are going for, really, probably, but as well as the kids. Kind of an orangey thing. Makes it really hard to see the tracks, these translucent ones.
Oh, I know. Especially the clear ones. The ones that aren't colored, there's no color at all.
God.
Those are really hard to pick a track.
Yeah. On the Doctor and the Kids stream last night, Ryan Kidd was playing a record and he kept on getting mad because he couldn't find where his track started.
Yeah, I included one of these in my mixtape last night, and I couldn't tell when the song was going to end. I was like, I think it's going to end. I'm not sure. Yeah, good album though. Like this is something that's been sitting on my shelf for like probably 2 years. I hardly ever listen to this record, and I brought it out, took it out for this stream, and I love it. So, props to me for buying that.
It can be frustrating with that, but I get frustrated when I know that a record is available in various color variants, and I get stuck with just the black vinyl. It's like these Guru Brain records. Every time I see them in the store, that particular store, they just have the black vinyl. They don't have the color variant.
See,
then when I go to the Guru website, they're sold out.
I'm the opposite. I get frustrated when I can't get the black version. And some labels don't put a black version now. They'll just do the color versions.
And then some bands will release limited runs of the same, it's the same release, but they'll do 200 in this color and 200 in that color, and which is fine. I don't care. But then the people who succumb to FOMO, they have to buy every single color variant, and I'm like, gee, dude, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But anyway, whatever makes you happy, So, all right. For me here, coming up, these are the records that I thought Chris was possibly going to show. So we've got Mdou Moctar and Alana the Creator. Yep, there he is with holding it up.
I was holding it back. I was holding it
there
back.
There it is.
What color is yours?
Look at you guys.
This was the one, I think this is probably the one that kind of broke him into the Western scene. Really amazing psychedelic guitar with a Tuareg style of blues, Saharan blues. He is already one of the people that I've seen live 3 or more times. There's not very many bands that I have seen at least 3 or more times, and he is one of them. And I can't wait to get he's been doing some it's not new material, but he's been working with a drum machine and re-recording some of his earlier songs with a drum machine, and I'm very excited about hearing that. And then the other one is this one by Tanarwen. This is Ahmad Jar. So it's got a nice little booklet, comes with it as well. It's a double album.
I have it as a download only.
You got it as a download?
I have it as a download. I don't have it on physical format.
Well, you know what? Their entire catalog is just about all available on vinyl now, and I'm seeing it in stores all the time. So they're selling records. It's a little booklet that just kind of, has some drawings and photographs. So my understanding, it shows them in their native Algeria, I guess, but my understanding is that they live in penthouses in London. I don't know. But with Tanarwen, I mean, I love Mdou Moctar, and not just his music and not just his guitar playing, but his band, his rhythm section is just absolutely amazing. But his music, he does tend to really do the guitar very forward. Tanarwen is just as amazing, but the guitar playing is, it's not showmanship, it's not showy or anything like that, but it is very, very solid. Really like the Tanarwen. Really would love to see them also, but as I've said many other times, when they were booked to be in Chicago, they had to cancel the show because they couldn't get a visa, from what I understood. But they managed to do tours in Britain. And well, if they live in a penthouse in Britain, of course they can do tours in Britain. But I think they managed to get to Canada and do a tour. But I don't know why they were unable to get a visa to come play here in the U.S. So that's my round. I have one more.
So this is the last round?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to show 3 records in the last round. One of them was a record I thought you might show, Richard. And if this is your last one, I apologize. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds with Ghosteen.
I don't have any Nick Cave, and I really, really, really want to get some.
Okay, so I don't have very much Nick Cave. I only have like a couple albums and I think something on CD. So this was the album that had come out after his son had died. So it's obviously it's a very sad, mournful record. Even though it's got sort of this idyllic looking scene on the cover. I know there was somebody who did sort of the misleading covers as a contest question recently. And this is kind of this way because I find this to be a very sad record. So, and then let me get through my last couple ones. So my last 2 both are kind of under the category of sort of a band I've been collecting a long time that hadn't made albums in a while and start making albums again. So we have Sebadoh with Act Surprise. So you got Lou Barlow in the middle there. So, of course, he's working now with a reunited Dinosaur Jr., but he's also got a reunited Sebadoh. And I think he still does solo stuff sometimes because he's a pretty busy guy. And it's a translucent, colory sort of vinyl. My Nick Cave was on black vinyl.
Matches your shirt.
Yes, and then we've got some L7. So L7 got back together. They've been playing shows again, and they did come out with a new album, which is okay. But if you don't have any L7, this isn't the one you should get. Scatter the Rats, sort of this Coke bottle green is actually one of my favorites for vinyl colors. So I have it in that. And obviously L7, these ladies are still angry. They still rock really hard.
Nice.
Deep Blackus still really pounds the drums, and we've got the double guitar attack, and Danita still yells and screams at you. And I mean, what more do you want from L7 than that?
Pretty solid.
Yeah.
I love L7. Yeah.
Scatter the Rats.
Yes. Although Bricks Are Heavy and Smell the Magic are the 2 you really want to get if you're only going to have 1 or 2 of their records.
True.
Bricks are what?
Bricks Are Heavy.
Bricks are heavy.
Yeah, that one came out. I got like they did a 30th anniversary reissue last year, which I got. That was their major label debut. It's widely considered to be their best album.
I have L7. I have the debut. I thought that was their debut.
Oh, major label debut was Bricks Are Heavy. L7 was their debut. Yeah. That was the one they did on Epitaph. And then they did one on Sub Pop. And then they were on Slash for a few albums. So
it's the only one I have is the debut. I should get some more. I want to get some more.
I don't think their debut is that great, to be honest. So
it's more punky, I guess.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Well, Jason, what do you got for us?
Okay, I'm going to show 4 records. I ran feverishly and got the 4th one because it's got to be shown. But first up, some more hardcore punk. This is hardcore mixed with crust and death metal. It's extremely heavy, and it's from Malaysia. Malaysian hardcore here.
And this is the one you showed before?
No, I've never shown this one before. It's the only record I have by this band. It's one of those classic punk releases where it's like 6 record labels put this record out.
Yeah.
So yeah, based on the international DIY hardcore punk conspiracy or community putting out those records, and a Canadian crossover type band, Hard Charger. These guys are from New Brunswick, from Fredericton. This is Volume 4, Take the Guff and Suffer. I have some previous stuff by these guys on 7-inch. I really like these guys. I haven't seen them live yet. but they're still going. Like I think they started in like 2010, so now we're up to 2019. Hard Charger. It's just good, kind of straight ahead, punk and roll. The vocals are kind of rockish a little bit. You can kind of make them out, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I suspect I couldn't do New Brunswick if I was trying to do provinces.
Well, being from there, I've got quite a bit of tapes and records over the years. Eric's Trip from Moncton, New Brunswick.
I've heard of them. I think I have a mixtape that has a song by them, but I don't have an
album. On Sub Pop. And this is spoiler alert, going to be in my top 5. This is probably one of my favorite records from 2019. Cerebral Rot. Just look at that logo. Yeah, that's you're in good form.
Odious Descent into Decay. What a
Odious. Oh yeah, this is positively dripping. It's so disgusting and dirgy. This is dirgy death metal. I thought maybe it might be a green vinyl, but it's a black vinyl. But yeah, it's on $20 Spin, which is really one of the best metal labels right now for death metal, old school death metal, and love it. It's doomy as well. It's kind of slow. It's got the low Cookie Monster vocals and almost a drip to it. Like it's wet. It's so swampy, it's wet. But here is a vocal that's not swampy or wet. This is my end of 2019 here. This had to be showed. It's a Christmas album, by the way, by the legend, the best metal vocalist of all time, Mr. Rob Halford. Judas Priest in the house. Rob Halford sings Celestial. And by the way, this is not the first Rob Halford Christmas album. He's done one before. He just can't help himself. He can't hold back. His earlier record, though, I think was more winter theme overall with some Christmas. Yeah. But this is full on. We have Donner and Blitzen, God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen.
So these are like traditional Christmas songs.
Deck the Halls. Not all of them, but most of them are. Yeah. Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Oh, Little Town of Bethlehem. All fucking rocking and rolling. The Metal God.
I'll have to look that up and listen to it on YouTube.
Yeah, I play it every year for my wife, and she's she can't stand. She doesn't like heavy metal.
There's a couple Judas Priest albums where you can say, yeah, he can occasionally do some wrong.
Well, okay, yeah, but he does hit those highs.
Yes,
and it's just wonderful to see him. Good old Rob.
Okay,
so that's my round.
Oh, all right.
My last round.
All right. Well, the last two I got here, these are a couple Peel session records that were released in 2019. First one is the LFO Peel session. So LFO, low frequency oscillation.
Yes.
So this is a
great band.
And IDM, a little bit on the techno side. More so. This is only LFO I have. I haven't really seen it show up in the stores that much. And
I have their debut single. I've never heard the Peel session though. I'm sure it's really nice.
Yeah. And since buying these Peel sessions, I've really been aware now of Warp Records and what they do. The other one is Plaid.
Oh yeah,
and which this is also an IDM electronic. This is a duo from London, Ed Handley and Andy Turner. I forget who LFO is, but this is interesting because I just picked up the other day a full Plaid record, which I think I have to look this up.
I had a guy in my shop just yesterday talking to me about Plaid. Apparently Plaid was going to play in Montreal, but they had to cancel their gig maybe a year ago or something. And he had tickets for it. And he was all excited. He's like, next time they come, do you want to go together? And I was like, cool. Yeah. I've never heard Plaid, but I've heard of them.
Well, they have a new record that came out in 2022. So when we get to 2022, I'll be talking about it.
That's why they're touring, maybe. Yeah.
It's and it's really good. It's the guy at the record store. I mean, he was really nice in that it was a new record and sealed, but he opened it so that I could listen to it. And he said, because if you don't like it, then that's fine. I can put it up in the DJ booth and I can play it. Yeah. So but yeah, I really, really like it. So I am definitely getting more and more into the EDM and more avant-garde.
Electronic, yeah, that's kind of like a listening techno, right? Like it's not for the dance floor necessarily. Plaid.
Well, there's a couple songs on the new one anyway. Now, this Plaid one. Well, I don't know. I didn't give it a listen today. But I think I will give it a listen again today because I do seem to think I remember at least one of the tracks is pretty danceable. And with the new one, there's definitely some tracks that are very danceable.
See, I think they were part of a group called Black Dog Productions, which I'm a bit familiar with.
Yeah, I don't know.
And LFO is great. LFO is kind of like bleep techno, really low bass, really low sub on that. Like one of the, it'd be a record I would test a stereo system with is my LFO single on Warp Records. But yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. We did an episode on the Gunkles about, if you wanted to test a stereo system in a store, what record would you play instead of letting the salesperson play? And
play stereo.
Robert and I both agreed to use Black Sabbath's Debut because of the way the sound stage was set up in that recording. It really is a great spacing, especially with the drums, and it is a good record if you've got a really good quality pressing. It is a good record to test stereo equipment with. But yeah, the Plaid is definitely quite interesting, and I do see. Yeah, it says here that they started recording as Plaid while they were still members of Black Dog Productions. Yeah. So, and they've got quite a discography as well. Yep. So the one I bought is a brand new. Well, it's 2022, not 2023, but it's still a brand new one. So, all right, thanks guys for joining, and thanks everyone out there that has been watching for sticking through the sketchiness of my internet connection. Do be sure to check out the Vinyl Community Gunkles if you haven't already, and find me on Instagram as well. We got Chris from Record Talk. You can check out his channel. We got Low Noise Jason Skills. Check out his channel as well. And I guess that's it, guys. Thank you, and everyone else.
Next week.
Remember, yes, I haven't made up my mind because we're at 2020, and I'm kind of thinking, all right,
we bother? Yeah.
Do we combine 2021 and 22? I'll have to look and see. I have a lot of releases.
From my standpoint, I kind of went a little crazy buying records during the pandemic, so I've actually got more stuff to show. But of course, for 21 and 22, I've made videos about it because that's when I got into making videos.
Right.
I wasn't making videos in 2020, but I brought up a lot of those in videos as well. So let us know what you want to do.
Oh yeah, I'll post that, and then be thinking about, all right, what's the next phase of the Sunday Brunch Bunch?
Yeah.
I do my homework at the last minute anyway.
Yeah. I was like that too. I mean, I did manage to listen to a good number of my records today, this morning, before, because I knew I haven't listened to some of these records in so long. I remember I liked them, but I can't really remember what they sound like. So I needed to do that, and I'll prepare too for next time if I can. But anyway, thanks guys, and thank everyone else. And always remember, to pray for the people inside your head, for they won't be there when you're dead.